Here's how to stitch a panorama in the iPad version of Affinity Photo and also tackle any stitching errors that might occur. So from the welcome screen, we can choose to create a new document up here and then choose New Panorama. Now we can add files either from cloud storage or from a photos library, but what I'll do is use the drag-drop approach, which means swiping up from the bottom and then just dragging and docking out the Files app, or you could drag out the Photos app if your images are in a photos library. I'll just go into my landscape folder. There are my images, so I'll tap select up here, swipe to select all 6 of them, and then just tap drag them into the images box here. Okay, then I'll just tap stitch, and what Photo will do is just analyze and calculate a rough preview thumbnail version of the final panorama. There we go. That looks good, so we'll tap OK and instruct Photo to reconstruct and calculate the full resolution version. Okay, this looks pretty good. Notice here we've got some transparent areas around the edges of the panorama, which is par for the course really. One easy way to get rid of these is to tap into the command menu up here and choose Crop to Opaque. There we go. And it's cropped out the transparent areas. So now all we need to do is tap Apply, and we've got our finished panorama. But we did also mention correcting stitching errors, and that's what we're going to do now. I've got some photographs of the same scene, but in portrait orientation, where there is a stitching error. So once again, I'll choose New Panorama, swipe up from the bottom, drag the Files app out. This time I'll go into my portrait folder. So as we can see, it's the same scene, just shot in portrait orientation instead of landscape. Okay, once they're all added, I'll just tap Stitch. Okay, there's our thumbnail preview, so that looks good. We'll tap OK. Okay, this looks quite good at first glance, but if we just zoom in, we'll see there's a little bit of a stitching error around the crane here. The sky is slightly brighter, producing a halo effect. Now we can fix this very easily by using the brush tool here. And what this tool allows us to do is specify to the stitching algorithm which areas to take from which images. So I can tap until I find this image here. So these structures are being used, whereas this grayed out area is not being used. So all we need to do is set an appropriate brush width and then just paint into this area to tell the stitching algorithm that we also want to use this part of the image for that crane. Then just tap Render and it will re-render and restitch the panorama. And there we go, problem solved. So now all that remains is to once again use the Crop to Opaque command up here to crop out the transparent areas of our panorama, then tap Apply to move back into the photo persona for further editing.